You know that phone in your pocket or the laptop you're probably watching this on? Ever stop and think about who actually builds that stuff? Well, today, we're drawing up the blueprint for a career as a hardware design engineer, the people who are the true architects of our tech-filled world. And let's start with this big idea, because it's so true. You can have the most brilliant, world-changing software, but without hardware, it's just code. It's like having a mind with no body. Hardware engineers build that body. They're the ones who build the physical backbone for all of today's innovation.
All right, so here's our plan. We're going to cover what the job is, how stuff actually gets made, the essential tools you'll need, what to expect in an interview, and finally, where this career can really take you. Let's jump right in.
Okay, first up, the architect of technology. Let's get to the heart of it. What does a hardware design engineer really do every day? In a nutshell, these are the master builders of the tech world. They take an idea, sometimes just a concept on a whiteboard, and they turn it into a real physical piece of electronics that you can hold and use. It's all about blending circuit design, making sure all the different parts play nice together, and then testing the heck out of it to make sure it works. And what's so fascinating about this role is the mix of skills you need. It's this perfect blend of deep theoretical knowledge and practical hands-on ability. You absolutely have to know the fundamentals of electronics, but you also have to be an artist when it comes to laying out a circuit board and a detective when it comes to debugging it. So how does a simple idea become a gadget that you can actually hold in your hand? Well, it's not magic, that's for sure. It all comes down to a really structured process called the development life cycle. And this right here is the master blueprint for that journey. You start with requirements, figuring out exactly what this thing needs to do. Then you move to architecture, the big picture of how you're going to build it. After that comes the nitty-gritty of design and layout, and then the really exciting part, building the first prototype. But you're not done, because now comes the reality check, testing and validating to see if your creation actually works. All right, section 3, the engineer's essential toolkit. To actually navigate that whole life cycle we just talked about, you need a pretty powerful toolkit of specialized knowledge. Let's dive in. Okay, so much of hardware engineering revolves around the printed circuit board, the PCB. You can think of designing one like building a tiny, complex city. The schematic is your architectural blueprint, the pure logic of it all. The layout and routing, that's your city planning. Where do the components go? How do you run the cog or traces, the roads between them? And the bill of materials, the BOM, that's your final shopping list. You mess up one tiny detail, and the whole city can grind to a halt. So, if the PCB is the city map, these embedded components are the critical buildings that make the city function. Your microcontroller, that's like City Hall. It's running the whole show. You've got your memory, which is like the city's library, and you have power ICs, which are the power plants, making sure every part of the city has the clean energy it needs. These are the bits that make the hardware smart. Of course, all these different parts of the city need to talk to each other. That's where communication protocols come in. You can literally think of them as different languages. SPI is the language for super fast, high bandwidth conversations. I2C is more for short, local chats between neighbors. And UART, that's kind of the simple, universal language you use for basic check-ins and debugging. A good engineer knows which language to use for which conversation. Now here's where things get really challenging. It's one thing to make a board that works perfectly on your quiet lab bench. It's a whole other thing to make one that's reliable out in the noisy, messy real world. You're constantly fighting these invisible enemies, like electromagnetic interference, or crosstalk, where signals start whispering to each other, causing chaos. It's a hidden but absolutely vital part of the job. A design on a computer is just a theory. You have to prove it works. So now we're going to look at how engineers test their work, and, in a fun twist, how they themselves get tested in a job interview. So picture this. You're in an interview. They slide a circuit board across the table. It's dead. They look at you and say, "It won't boot. What do you do?" This is the classic question. They're not looking for a single right answer. They want to see your process. How do you think? Do you have a logical, step-by-step way to hunt down the problem? They're testing your real-world instincts. And to be a good hardware detective, you need a serious toolkit. An oscilloscope is your magnifying glass for electricity. It lets you literally see the signals. A logic analyzer is like a high-speed camera for digital data, making sure all the ones and zeros are happening at the right time. And thermal cameras, they can instantly show you where the hotspot of the crime is, literally the component that's overheating.
When you're in that interview, you can bet you're going to get grilled on the fundamentals. They'll ask things like, why use a 6-layer board instead of a 4-layer? Or how do you actually prevent that crosstalk we talked about? They want to know you truly understand the why behind your design choices.
And they'll also poke at your embedded systems knowledge. Can you explain the trade-offs between those communication protocols? Do you know what a watchdog timer is? It's a genius little failsafe that reboots the system if it freezes. They want to know that you see the whole system and how all these pieces need to work together flawlessly. All right, last section, let's talk about the future. What does the long-term journey look like for a hardware engineer? Where does this path actually lead? The career path is often a pretty clear ladder to climb. You might start out as a specialist. Maybe you're the absolute go-to expert on PCB layout. Then you level up to a hardware design engineer, designing the whole board. From there, you become a senior, leading projects and mentoring others. And eventually, you can become an architect, the visionary who's planning how entire complex systems will work together. And you know, the real key to climbing that ladder is a fundamental shift in your thinking. It's all about zooming out. You start your career zoomed way in, asking, how do I make this one tiny circuit work? To really grow, you have to pull back and start asking, how does this entire system fit together to do something amazing? Because at the end of the day, success in this field is just a massive, masterful balancing act. Every single decision is a trade-off. You want more features? That'll probably increase the cost. You need it to be rock-solid reliable? Well, that might make it harder to manufacture. It's a constant negotiation between technical perfection and real-world constraints. So let's bring it all home. We've said it before, software is amazing, but it needs a body to live in. It needs hardware to come alive. And as we wrap up this blueprint, the real question isn't just about what you can build, the question is, what will you bring to life?